Coming up in this video, we do some industrial tourism, find an installation that's way overdue for testing, 6'4" Gary walks into a fluorescent tube, we find this mess, and a new way to use a Wagobox.
Does this industrial unit need a rewire? Let's go and find out.
I think it needs electric doors, I'll tell you that much. You've had a sneak peek at what's coming up as we go around this industrial unit. We've been asked by the new tenant who's moving in to do a visual inspection of the wiring system. Now, challenge with industrial units is what was good for the last tenant in terms of socket outlets, the type of machinery they had, may not be suitable for the tenant that's moving in. Is it up to standard in terms of the wiring regulations?
Yeah, we might find some horrors on the way through, and it'd be a great opportunity for help other people in the community in the comments. So for example if we've got people in there that are training or maybe only familiar with domestic installations, wouldn't it be helpful if you could help them maybe with coding and possible solutions for some of the problems we're going to find?
So let's start our tour at where the supply intake is, and hopefully behind this cover we'll find the distribution board.
Right, okay, so here we go.
Deep breath, are you ready for this, Gary?
Deep breath indeed. Here we go. So let's start at the supply origin then. So we've got our earthing arrangement there, Gordon. Just talk us through that. What have we got?
Yeah, TNCS. So yeah, protective multiple earthing. Oh, Yorkshire Electricity Board. That was a while ago. Traditional British colours on there as well, the red, yellow, blue. And obviously with looks like 100 amp, 3 times 100 amp across the phases. Got our meter there. Nothing too exciting here. Right, we've got some interesting arrangements here. Let's get one out of the way. I don't know what the plug on the Twin and Earth does.
Okay, yeah, novel. I'd imagine it's normally for something like an outside light, isn't it? I'm sure the investigation
we'll find out. So yeah, so the meter tails appear all to go here. So I guess we'll start here. Okay. This looks like some sort of main switch, Gary.
So we've got some sort of means of isolation there, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so wrestle your way in.
Yep.
Oh, yep, lights are off.
The lights are off, so I guess that's feeding that other board as well.
Okay.
So let's have a look.
I'll just have a little scan through. Remember, leave those comments below. We'd be really interested in them. Okay.
Yeah. As I said, installation's changed. So there must have been some armoured cable in here for something in the past, so someone's left that adaptable box.
Okay.
Let's see what's
looking good.
Lurking behind here.
Ant killer as well, so a little bit of everything here. Okay.
I've spotted something already. What is it? Whenever we do one of these,
it's a wood screw.
Yeah, we've always found
phantom wood screw.
There's always a wood screw.
Okay, here we go. Excitement is building, Gordon. Come on, let's get it open.
Well, that's some nervous tension. Ah, okay.
Wow. Let's just have a quick little look in there. So that's the incoming 3 phases. We come through, bit of a homemade DIY buzz bar there, yeah?
Yeah, so that's feeding that, which is feeding out to this eFIXX.
Right, okay, which is there. Is that feeding into a 3-phase socket then, is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've split, but then the earth is going...
What's the earth going?
This CPC going in there, so that's going in there.
Right, okay. So, again, yeah, I think also we've got a single phase supply here and we come in out.
Well, that seems to be feeding that other board.
Coming up here with the tails, yeah, feeding that board.
And this appears to be, the...
What's that one? Black, is that CPC or?
That's the neutral to that board, I think. Yes, it is.
Let's have a look.
Hold on.
Let's find it.
No, that's the one going out to the 3-phase socket. Okay, that's interesting. Let's just see what's...
Right, so they've brought a neutral from this board here, because obviously we've only got the tails bringing the 3 lines in. This single here brings a neutral, which effectively goes out to our 3-phase socket. Is that right? Well, now just pull back and have a look at that. So this is the SY-FLEX. Okay, that feeds this 3-phase and neutral, and obviously protective conductor socket.
Oh.
What have we got now?
So this is the CPC feeding that 3-phase socket. So it appears to use the steel work of the box. I don't think you're allowed to do that, are you? So,
well, comments below. We're not going to answer all these. We want your interaction. Is it very tight? Can you just check the tightness of it for us? Have we got a tight one?
Yeah,
good. And then that goes off and
goes to
into
this board.
that board there. Exciting start, I would suggest. Okay, so we went into the single phase board.
Hang on.
Oh, hang on.
Let's bring a hand cam in here, Gary.
When was it last tested? Oh,
well, 92 suggesting it was installed, and yeah, retest you, and yeah, 95. So I think we're just a tad over.
Would you say we're due?
Yeah, I think it's due. So, back in there.
I would presume the IP rating at the top of this enclosure, we'll try and get a shot of that at some point, will not be IP4X, but let's have a look what's in the board. Come on, Gordon. The world is waiting to see what delights await us underneath these 2 screws.
Ooh.
Oh, this is the first time we've seen it as well. This is, yeah, so we're doing this one on the fly. Let's bring hand cam in. So we've gone in there through a metal bush. We've brought our tails and our earthing conductor in, and then decided to make a bit of a rat's nest of it. Always say, just because it looks messy, there's no coding for messy. Obviously, it would be better workmanship, but obviously we can't code that as a obviously C1 because you don't like the way it's laid out. Gordon, what's your first thoughts?
Yeah, that's a challenge. Just trying to figure out what's going on here. That's that neutral that was going.
Oh, is that out of the main switch?
Yeah, that's that one that was feeding back down.
So that comes down there, okay,
Yeah.
okay, and feeds into there. Ooh.
So here's our incoming neutral here. Right. So that just loops straight into there. Yeah, it's an interesting combination. So this looks like we've got some sort of ring final circuit. We've got yeah, a 10 amp circuit. I guess that's the lights with what's going on there. Someone's added a new one here, so I don't know where that's going. That's vanishing.
What cable's that? If you don't mind me asking. Seems a bit flexible.
Ah, hold on. Yeah, it is flexible, Gary. That's.
Oh right, okay.
Well, that's
Come on,
feeding
this. I'll
Yep.
just have a little look the other side and see where that goes. So what is that feeding? Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's our 16 amp single phase socket outlet.
Yeah, which appears to be upside down.
All right, okay.
IP44, I think, relies on actually the device being the right way
Well, you've
around.
gone to all that effort to wire it in flex and not gland it properly. Okay, why would you go to all the effort of putting it actually on the way round?
Yeah, so we've got
Some
no
challenges.
RCD protection.
Is that the least of our worries, I would suggest at this stage, yeah?
But yeah, so I think from this end, I don't think we can escape doing a full rewire on this, really. There's a lot of work we'd have to do to bring that up to any sort of standard.
And it probably wouldn't be worth our while. So I would imagine a new distribution board, and I think this is only the start of our problems, isn't it? So we're going to go around and see what other gems that we've got out there. If you also want to suggest some wiring containment solutions for us, and perhaps even the types of outlets that maybe you'd install in a similar industrial unit, we'd appreciate that feedback in the comments as well. So we've already ascertained that the 16 amp socket outlet is wired in a little bit of flex. Let's take a deep dive inside and see if there's any other gems in there, Gordon.
Get in there.
Yeah, looks interesting. There we go.
No. I was thinking, we might be able to correct this one straight away. I want to put it back on.
Yeah, what, you spin it round?
Yeah.
I think there's more problems than just it being upside down, Gordon.
At least there's no wood screws in here. Right, okay, that's, okay, shall we say it's tight? Well, I could. Okay, right, now. That's, look at a double screw. This double screw here,
Yeah.
that's that's...
Is that working as a cord grip?
Yeah, they've trapped the cable behind the box.
Oh, wow. To prevent the flex from being pulled back out?
Yeah, but obviously that's why it's upside down, because if you try and put it on that way...
But it hasn't got an RCD, Gordon, remember? It hasn't got an RCD. That's the main problem, okay? So I would suggest that one's going, isn't it?
So we've got our incoming telephone there. Seems like we're powering the whole industrial estate from that junction box. But obviously if we're going to run some telephones around the place or possibly some data, this could be an important area.
I would suggest so, yeah. We want that Wi-Fi in here, won't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Next one.
At least this one, Gary, there's been some effort to at least fix the cable in place. eFIXX though.
Final circuits in eFIXX. Comments below, help others in the community as you go. I know from the other end, Gordon, that the actual braiding around the eFIXX isn't earthed in the DB, okay? So is it earthed this end?
No.
Okay. Why would it be?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that of note?
Phase sequence seems to be in right order, but yeah, I don't think there's nothing to see here. I think this is gone as well.
Okay.
Now, we have made a recent video about a top tier product. that we may use to replace these two sockets. Check that out if you haven't seen it.
That is definitely worth checking out because of the versatility of that system and the type of electrical enclosure you can have in one box. So it could be a solution, couldn't it? Where next?
Well, might as well step along to the first 13 amp socket outlet, Gary, which yeah, should be on that ring final circuit.
Well, what we've had so far, we can see it here on the wall. I bet there's no cables inside it at all. It's just screwed to the wall as a fake 13 amp socket outlet. So you get it open, let's see what's in there, if anything.
There's also there's a little bit of damage there around the earth pin.
Okay.
Let's have,
no conductors in there. Come on, let's have an empty box on the wall.
this might be reasonable because it seems to be fed off that other board that at least was some sort of to it.
Oh, we got, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's all right. Grommeted through the back. Twin and earth cable. Plenty of screws holding it to the wall. That's not bad. That. Just point out there is another telephone socket behind the area. So,
okay. Yes. Yeah.
I wonder what was in here before a call centre with all them.
So, okay, no RCD protection, which we've obviously keep mentioning, but out of what we've seen so far, it's probably the best one we've actually opened up.
Yeah.
So let's continue the theme on looking at 13 amp socket outlets. This one already is cracked. Okay, but you would presume the IP rating on the top of the enclosure would be appalling. Actually, that's not too bad of an effort until we look up, Gordon, just up here.
Yeah, so this looks like it's an addition to the ring final circuit, Gary. Yeah, so there's no grommet. You can see the conductors in there.
Please code accordingly for the community, I would suggest.
Let's just see whoever wired that in didn't care at that end. So let's just have a look at what's going on at this end.
Okay.
Old style MK socket there as well, if anyone can remember when they stopped making this variant.
Right.
You can remember when they still made them in brown, Gary, can't you?
Yeah, and they were round. Yeah, thank you very much. So let's go with this.
Oh,
What we got? Exciting.
we've got a melted wire for starters.
Let's have a look.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's crumbling off there. You can see exposed conductor on there.
And it's often quite, one of those things, isn't it? How many times it is the neutral. If we've got 6 amps running down here, we've obviously got 6 amps running down the neutral, and obviously, you say, look, that's loose, isn't it? Yeah, it's a loose termination there. So, of course, that's caused a massive build-up of heat, and we're melting the old thermoplastic PVC.
Yeah. While we're here, Gary. Yeah. About turn, there's another damaged socket behind there. So.
Okay, let's have a quick look. Yeah. Okay, so we've got, broken there, the earth pin's broken down into where our live conductors would be. I don't think we've found anything salvageable at the moment, have we, really? Full rewire, I would suggest. Goes back to it, doesn't it? The responsibility of testing electrical systems. This was 1995, it was recommended it needed a re-inspection.
Yeah.
That's a considerable amount of time, and obviously the amount of tenants that have been in and out here, perhaps having a little bit of a personal dibble at the wiring system to overcome their own problems. This is what you're left with, isn't it? Be interesting to see what the new tenant does with the wiring, won't it?
Yeah. Got another room to go in here, Gary. Should we have a look in here?
Possibly an ideal little workshop. I wouldn't suggest the lighting levels are perfect in here, but socket outlet wise, what have we got?
Well, I've got one socket, and it seems to be incredibly high up. So yeah, you can just reach that, Gary. Yeah. So that's what. Yeah, probably need some more socket outlets in here. I mean, there's a drain here, so perhaps it's been put up there for a purpose. Perhaps that was out of reach of some sort of process that was going on. You're right, lighting. Key thing about lighting is to make sure it's in the right place. Task lighting is what it's often referred to, lighting the task you're trying to do. So if you're working on a bench and the light's behind you, you're probably working in shadow, so that's something you might want to look at. Continuing
on your theme of task lighting, would you suggest this area here, which is the main area in the actual industrial unit, is well lit?
I mean, it's reasonably well lit, but again, depends what you're going to be doing in that space. Are these lights in the right position? Can you imagine if you were trying to fix cars in here, the car would be right underneath the lights, you'd be working in shadow, you might be working down the side. It may be better to put the lights on the wall, shining into the space.
And also, with them being fluorescent fittings, and it's obviously a little bit chilly at the moment, do you think that's the perfect light for this type of environment?
It's getting increasingly difficult to source fluorescent tubes, and let's remember these probably aren't that energy efficient because they're on magnetic ballasts. So there's possibly an energy saving feature in there. Obviously, when the doors open, you may not even need them on, so we could fit some occupancy and light level detection to them.
What you're suggesting now is we're probably not keeping them, are we?
And they're a little bit rusty as well. So yeah, definitely, I think I think they need to go. Let's meanwhile we can check out the lighting circuit as we go, Gary. So some bit of twin and earth there. Oh look, someone's made an effort with a bit of conduit but decided just to give up halfway through. We've got a loose cable there.
Also bends a bit crease there as well. I wonder if that bending radius is appropriate to 2.5 times the diameter of the conduit. Okay. What have we got here?
Well,
a lot of headroom.
Here's a problem. I don't know how you call this. You're all right, Gary. You haven't got a problem, but I might struggle if I was. Yeah.
Wow, that is close. Yeah, so that is what we would. Yeah, just brushing your hair on the actual.
I don't know how you code that potential for head to crash into fluorescent tube. Again, it's on. It's magnetic ballast. Wiring seems all right. It's wired on SWA armoured cable, running along the pearl in there. So nothing untoward there. But yeah, my problem is clank your head on that. So it looks like another lighting related issue here, Gary. I think even you could walk into the tube and smash that.
Yeah, I'm 6'4" as well, so yeah, that's pretty low.
So looking at the length of this flex, this was probably when it was originally installed a lot lower down. It's just been lifted up as this mezzanine floor's put in, and you've spotted it, Gary. The end cap appears to be held on with tape, and a little bit of string holding it up as well. So I suggest this fitting's probably at the end of its life.
Lacking the IP rating on the top of the enclosure. That's got one cable in it, okay, as we pan round to the other one.
And it's the same.
Also got one cable in it. We might be finding a stray joint somewhere. I can't remember too many circuits coming out of the board for radial socket circuits. Is this our only connection for the phone line in here?
Yeah, so we've got some phone lines there. There seems to be some CCTV cable wandering along there. Again, we've got a light, but this room doesn't have its own light switch, so this is on all day with the rest of the unit. So.
And there is our obviously office station with no sockets anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Marvellous.
So we've got another socket outlet here, Gary, with the light plugged in. T12 tube. They're almost impossible to get now. But let's remove this. There's another problem here.
Oh, and insulated pins.
Yeah. Uninsulated pins, you don't see many of them. So yeah, if anyone remembers back in those days, Gary, you probably again brown when you first wired these in. You could, if you're not careful, small fingers can get behind there and touch the pins.
Yeah, and look at the pins on here. Look at the actual socket inlets. Yeah, look at that. Nice little bit of burning out.
It's not in great condition. So again, this looks like it's on the ring and then someone spurred off.
What delights we'll find underneath the cover here.
A little bit rusty as well.
So we're thinking possibly 1993 install. Is that the sort of time we think it has probably not been tested since? Well, it doesn't look too bad in there.
So,
sort of look in there. So no melted conductors in there, Gordon?
Not too bad. It seems to be corroding a little bit there, but everything seems to be intact. So not too bad. Obviously a gland would have been, a gland or adapter would have been okay on there, but you never know. And obviously along here we've got a water heater plugged in, which all seems okay. Again, missed the conduit adapter there, but getting close on here. So here's some sort of water heater, and there's an exposed terminal in there. So you'd be brave to turn that on next to a sink with no RCD protection.
So what are we looking at next? Oh, sorry. What you do? Oh. Okay, we're safe.
tracking down the earth bonding conductor. I think I found where it comes in, so you can see it going down the wall there, hiding beneath here. So obviously I found it.
Oh right, okay.
So it looks like it's either been snapped off or never connected in the first place. Well, probably snapped off, I think. Nice. I guess I call that maroon toilet system there.
I think it's Burgundy.
Burgundy.
Comments below, what would you call it? Again, also code that on the bonding conductor not being connected.
I do like a light switch when it's covered in emulsion.
So as we come outside, it highlights a few more issues. We've got a security camera up there with a cable cleverly hidden and just nips under the roller shutter door. I just imagine to chop it off at any moment. And I've got a funny feeling it's connected to absolutely nothing. What about the lighting out here?
The lighting. We've got this bulkhead behind us. It's suggests it's probably seen better days. Held shut with two cable ties. The old attaching two cable ties together. Great top tip there. Yeah, there's even some lichen on the cable. So what's that section of the regulations about flora and fauna?
I think it's been replaced by the LED one at the top there. However, they've used an interesting connecting method, I would suggest.
Yeah, there's a Wagobox up there, and yeah, it seems to be stuck on there with a bit of silicon. So there's yeah, how to improve your IP rating there. Yeah, but it is actually the only thing in this installation that actually is labelled up with its actual function. There is a switch that says outside a floodlight, which is, yeah, there's no labels on anything else. Well, Gary, this is the industrial unit that keeps on giving. Who would have thought for such a relatively small installation we could find so much wrong? And clearly it hasn't been inspected for an incredibly long time, and yet people have kept adding on. Perhaps a little recap. Well, can we call it a distribution board? The collection of wires, switches and circuit breakers in a wooden enclosure. What have we found there?
Hopefully the keen-eyed amongst you have given us plenty of comments to get back to, and hopefully you're answering them yourselves as well. Hopefully you spotted the reduced size neutral from the supply authority, which we think is also single insulated. We've also got a 32 amp breaker on an SY flex feeding the socket outlet.
Yeah, at 16 amps. And it's strange, a lot of lash ups here, and yet someone's gone to the trouble of carefully identifying the conductors with the right colours. Yeah, strange, really strange.
We haven't even got out the MFT tester to test these circuits. We've just done a visual inspection, the journey on which you've come on. We hope that those comments in there will drive us forward and hopefully answer some of the community's issues that they might have in similar situations out there in the real world. What are we up to next?
Next, let's think, can we save anything from this? Probably not. Sockets, broken, probably not enough of them. In the wrong places. Yeah,
not on an RCD.
Yeah, don't forget the lack of RCD protection. The lighting circuit seems okay. It's wide in SWA. We might be able to save that. However, lights probably at the end of their life. Yeah, probably some of them not in the right location. Obviously, you can walk into your head with a fluorescent tube in there. There's nothing. Yeah, lovely to do that. So I think, yeah, next, Gary, I think really we're looking at a full rewire, and perhaps you'd like to join us on that journey.
We won't be rewiring it, will we?
Well, I think you might be.
You're having a laugh, aren't you?